And the point is that there is nothing you can do. It's not like you're going to say, I can shimmy up a pole like there's no tomorrow. Where do I go? And do I need a helmet of some sort? Because it's going to come on when it comes on. And they say, well, it could be 2 hours or maybe 6. You still can't do anything about it. You're still going to be dark. That's the way it works.
But won't you be more comforted knowing that it's not just you? That the paranoia has gone away because they're like, no, baby, it's not you. It's everybody.
What happens when there's a blackout in our house? We
play board games, and he'll put on the fireplace and light all the candles.
Love blackouts. We used to fake them in college. We used to go downstairs and hit the breaker. And we'd have a party going on, and all of a sudden people start playing guitars and stuff, and there's girls, and it was just like really neat. I just really like power outs. I do.
You know, if we weren't married and I hadn't civilized you, I have this feeling that by now you would be one of those weird preppers living up in the cabin and like burying weapons in the front yard and like solar everything.
I'd be like that?
No, you would be that guy. If you hadn't married me and I hadn't civilized you, I really think that would be you.
As far as you know.
Cracking your knuckles and whittling. Coming up next.
Whittling?
Whittling. You're not going to believe what movie star is a dad for the first time at 53.
Smoking a corncob pipe.
We'll tell you next.
Whittling?
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink and McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
I'm just kidding. It's John with All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Give us a call so that you don't get coal delivered.
All right, I'm just looking
I'm really beginning to regret lending the Santa suit to John. I've got to be honest with you.
I'm looking up whittling.
No.
Like if there's a club.
You know, I'm feeling so badly for Josh Holt. This poor man, this is our missionary from Riverton. He went down to Venezuela for his mission. Sweet guy. Can you show his picture? Served his LDS mission there, met his cute wife, fell in love, came back.
Okay.
Josh, you know Josh.
Yeah, he's arrested down there for...
He lives in a little apartment with his wife, and the Venezuelan officials suddenly arrested him for arms dealing.
He didn't even have enough room to do weapons.
So the thing that really worries me is they're really being screwy with him, and I don't know why. His mother said that top Venezuelan officials have directed prison officials to ignore a judge's order approving Holt's hospitalization. They managed to get one long-distance shot of him, and he used to be a fairly
big guy, stout.
Yeah. He's just emaciated. He's been sick since he's been there, and they refused to let the doctor see him. State Department issued a call for his release in November. Senator Orrin Hatch has been using every string he could pull.
Right.
Nothing. So the judge finally ordered Holt to stand trial on weapons charges, and he's been held for over a year. Right? That's the first time. And the head of the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela wanted to go in there and be a support, and they wouldn't let him in the room.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I thought they were our friends.
I don't
Venezuela.
I don't know what's going on.
Don't people travel to Venezuela? He was living there with his wife.
It's very, very screwy. That's the thing that nobody understands. The leader of Venezuela is not hugely friendly, but we've always had a very cordial relationship. This is not like North Korea.
Right.
So it's interesting, but it did bring up a really big point of what do you do if you get arrested in a foreign country? Now, my sister Tamara used to be a diplomat, so she drilled this stuff into us every time.
What do you do?
We go anywhere. Number one, if you get arrested, immediately ask the local prison officials to notify the U.S. Embassy or consulate. And that's an easy one. From there on, it's their job to notify your family, let you know.
Okay.
They can't get anyone out of jail. I mean, they can't pay your fees. But what they do is they come in and go, okay, what's going on? And it's important to have the jail officials
like
know.
an advocate. They come in as an advocate.
It's important the jail official knows you've got someone from the U.S. Embassy that's now keeping an eye on you.
Right.
So now you're marked. They're
Right.
aware, and
Right.
it's not like you're this anonymous person. Then the thing that's really frustrating, though, is she said so many of the people, because she used to get calls all the time, as a diplomat, yeah, can you come get me out of jail?
Right.
She's like, you have to know the local laws. For instance,
Right.
the kid who died in he barely came home to die when he'd
Right.
been arrested in North Korea. He ripped down a poster off the wall and he was rolling it up. He wanted to keep it as a
It
souvenir.
was a propaganda picture.
But you don't do stuff like that.
Oh, and the other guys from that picked up the sunglasses.
Yeah, shoplifted the sunglasses. It's like you have to know the
You're an
laws
idiot.
of the country you're going
Right.
to. And it's a standard. And she said those are the stupidest ones. It's not even the drug ones that are like obvious, like they got
Right.
caught, you're in trouble. She said it's the ones where they just did culturally idiotic things
Right.
that were very offensive to the local
There was
populace.
there was someone that my friends talked about, and he was in Mexico, and he obviously was drinking too much. He kind of wandered away from town, Puerto Vallarta, and him and his friend in a Jeep took off into the countryside,
Oh, maybe not good.
and he got shaken down by the militia who drive around a pickup truck with automatic weapons, and
Take my money. Take it, because you have an automatic
and he
weapon.
disappeared for like 3 weeks. Everybody else went home from vacation, and they did the same thing, looking for him and stuff. And they are actually released, and they got home, and they said they will never go to Mexico again because they said it is a third world country.
When you're in their prison system, it certainly is.
Yeah, it
So,
was like, I think he quit drinking after that.
I mean, for poor Josh, I'm sorry.
know.
I'm not seeing him as an international arms dealer, and so I'm not sure what the game is here.
Like, Mexico's our friend. Argentina's our
Venezuela,
friend.
yeah.
Venezuela's our friend.
But in this case in particular, Tamara, my sister, always said that it was always the stupid thing.
Right.
She's like, pay some attention. There's little booklets you can get everywhere that say,
Right.
don't do this. I mean, there's places in Singapore, you spit on the sidewalk, and this guy got arrested and he got caned for it. They use caning as corporal punishment. So she's like, but it's common sense. Go figure out where you're going and don't assume that because you're American, they're going to go, no, you don't have to do anything.
American.
That doesn't work.
to do what you do.
That doesn't work.
John Stamos, still packing a punch.
That's the most hysterical thing you've ever said.
He's a dad, still packing a punch. He's becoming a dad for the first time.
Oh, at
You're welcome.
54,
He whittles.
packing a punch.
Packing a punch. He's only got one, but he used it. Now they have a baby.
That is so adorable.
Yeah, he met his girlfriend, his fiance, about 2 years ago, and he said, "This is the funny thing."
And he
This
lives
is
in
funny
Full
thing.
House with all this buttload of kids, and he's
Right.
never had. Well, of course, maybe that cured him of wanting to have kids.
Someone has waited to the age of 54 to have a child, and you would think there's some planning. There's like, okay, what we're going to do is we have the right house. We've got the space for the nursery. You know what we could
Good
do?
location for schools.
We got a tree with a swing and a sand bucket and everything, and we're ready to have a kid. And you would think that there would be some preparation. This is what John said. He says, "This is great. We have the same morals and the same values, and everything clicked so nicely." So he said, "Oh well, maybe we should have a family." Because we're together anyway.
Values.
Oh,
Yep.
what the heck? And she...
See, now I'm loving his fiance because she's funny. She's Caitlin McHugh. And McHugh said, maybe we should have a kid before we get married. And I said, why? Stamos recalls. And she said, because you're old.
And you won't be able to pack a punch.
Well, here's the weird thing. They actually got engaged at Disneyland, and then they got married at
They
Disneyland.
love Disneyland.
They love Disneyland.
And that's good why they're having a kid, so now they won't look creepy.
What are the two adults?
We have
wandering
friends
around?
who, just as adults, they
Don't take the kids.
They take their kids to grandma's, and they go to Disneyland on their own.
I think that is so.
You get home, it's like, wipe the Cheeros off. Get the get the hat. Take it off. That bracelet, take it off. It's Donald Duck on it. Hi, kids. Oh, what a business trip we just went on. What, the tan? Get out of here. You're all grounded. So anyway.
Well, it being Christmas, I thought this was the perfect time to address the whole Icelandic thing because this actually made international news again because they have actually opened a university.
University for what?
University.
For
The
what?
Icelandic Elf School. run by Magnus Scarpus. And
That's really close. Let me try. Where is it?
Right there.
Right there? Oh, okay.
But I even speak Norwegian, and I am nowhere
All
near
right.
that one.
Sharpaphonianism. There
Yeah.
you go. That's what you needed, my help.
Well, it's interesting because they say that this has got the most vehement elf-based culture of anywhere in the world, and Christmas is when everyone starts studying about that.
Wait. What is an elf-based culture?
54% of Iceland's residents would not deny that elves exist. References started appearing in all of their literature back in the Viking era, about 100 AD.
Okay, that's fun.
And according to the headmaster, he said hidden people are the same size and look just exactly like human beings, but they're invisible. Elves, on the other hand, are not human, so they may have more exaggerated features.
I see.
So, but here's the part that's cool. Can you start showing some of these pictures? They have elf residential stuff all across the country.
They build them.
Yes, well, or they find them, but they're finding these all over the country, and anywhere you go hiking or whatever,
They're there.
Yeah, there's all these little elf houses.
What?
And here's the weird part: they say they're always maintained. They take people on like elf tours and stuff to these totally random places out in the middle of nowhere, and they find all of these little cool houses.
Okay, I'm starting to like this.
But I mean, I love the concept of that though because
Because there's Zoe, a 6-year-old Zoe, it loves making fairy gardens and stuff like that.
well, here's what's so funny. Because of all of these tiny houses that are scattered all over the countryside now, there's so much hoopla over construction projects potentially harming the elf environs that the Icelandic Road and Coastal Administration had to create a 5-page standard reply for inquiries. It does not answer, they say, the question of whether or not elves exist, but they do, because it's a personal matter. He says, but we do have rules and regulations now for where you build so that you are not disturbing their abodes. So he's not prepared to admit that there are any, but you still can't mess with their houses.
You know, the mice population must be just digging this. Because what a house. You're a mouse size, you fit in the house.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the elves are eating them. Thanks. Come on in.
They're not.
They have spears.
They're not real.
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Where do you think all the houses came from? They've been writing about them since 1000 AD. Of course the elves exist.
I looked at some of those. I don't think they'd stand up to code, but that's just me.
You know, elves have their own code, Todd.
Do I have the Grinch story? Or
Yes,
do
you do.
All right.
This is a great video. And the police department actually made this, which makes me laugh even harder.
So let me just go over this really quickly. Is this a video? I think it is. It says, this is the police department, and they had video of
Surveillance video.
What's a Burger restaurant, and the Grinch. They call him the Grinch, and he went and stole a Christmas tree.
How could you steal a Christmas tree?
That is
Picked it up and took it fully decorated out of the restaurant and drove off. What's wrong with you?
So the police, this guy turned himself in because he felt guilty because it was Christmas.
Good.
And they wrote a note that went along with the punishment on this.
Well, he actually returned the tree to the
Yes.
Whataburger first before
Yes.
going to the police station.
Turned himself in. And they wrote him a Dr. Seuss poem, if you will.
Just like the Grinch in Whoville that year, he wound up finding his Christmas cheer. Our local guy who stole from Whataburger on a dare returned the short tree, which is actually quite rare. To those who might steal Christmas this year, we ask that you rather give some Christmas cheer. The Sagan, a.k.a. Whoville Police Department.
Oh, funny.
Take a look at the video. It's
All
really
right, you
cute.
guys have a great time. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday morning right back here on the Todd and Erin Morning Stream on GetPartDaily.com.